Ever get that feeling like you're standing at the foot of this giant AI mountain? You see all the potential, right? But actually using it feels, well, daunting.
Oh, absolutely. It's moving so fast, it's easy to feel overwhelmed. But
Yeah.
what if there was like a better path up, a way to tap into that power without needing a PhD in computer science?
Exactly. And that's what we're diving into today. Forget the dense research papers for a minute. We're talking about AI wrapper applications.
Mhm.
Think of them as your guide, yeah? Your Sherpa to get you up that AI mountain.
Our mission today is pretty clear. We want to break down what these AI wrappers actually are, why they're suddenly so important, and what this all means for where AI is headed.
We'll get into the core ideas, do some critical thinking, maybe have a little fun with some movie comparisons,
Always good.
and we'll wrap it up with a, let's say, bold prediction.
Okay, I'm intrigued. And we've pulled this together from some great sources, insights from NP, GRUP, Paul Dhaliwal over at futureof.ai.
Yeah, plus videos from places like Sudipta AI Products and CNBC, that Poly AI blog post, and just a bunch of articles looking at this whole wrapper trend. So we've got it covered.
All right, let's start with first principles, the absolute basics. What's the fundamental value of these big AI models, the LLMs, image generators, all that
A
stuff?
little raw capability, isn't it? They can do things.
Yeah.
Wow, things that felt like pure science fiction just a little while ago, like having this super smart brain in a box.
Exactly. Incredible capabilities. But, and this is a big but, trying to talk directly to that brain. It's not always simple. You're dealing with these complex APIs, application programming interfaces.
Right, those really specific instruction sets get one thing wrong.
And it doesn't work, or you get confusing errors. You're managing dependencies, input formats, output formats, versioning. It gets technical fast.
And honestly, who has the time? If you're building something, you want to build, not spend all your time wrestling with the connections. Developer time is valuable.
Which leads to the core goal, really. How do we get more people building with AI, not just the experts building the AI itself?
Okay, so that's where the wrappers come in. They're like
Yeah.
an extraction layer.
Yeah, exactly. They simplify all that complex machinery. Think about a car.
Yeah.
You don't need to understand the internal combustion engine.
Right. You just need the steering wheel, the pedals, the simple controls.
That's the idea.
Hmm.
Wrappers provide those user-friendly controls for the complex AI engine underneath.
Okay, so drilling down a bit more, what exactly is an AI wrapper application?
Well, fundamentally, it's a piece of software that sits between the user or the app they're using and the core AI model. It's a kind of intermediary.
An intermediary doing what exactly? What's happening behind the curtain?
Quite a lot, actually. Takes your input, maybe just plain text, and formats it perfectly for the AI. It handles the back-and-forth communication, those API calls, efficiently.
Okay.
Then it takes the AI's raw response, which might be messy, and structures it into something useful. It can even add extra logic, connect to other databases or tools to enhance the result.
So it's like a translator and an organizer, making sure the conversation between you and the AI actually works smoothly.
Precisely. Let's make it concrete. Any examples jump out?
Yeah, okay. Imagine a company building its own internal help desk bot. Instead of just using, say, generic ChatGPT, they use a wrapper. This wrapper connects to their private company documents, maybe their CRM system, and it follows their specific troubleshooting steps. It's tailored AI.
That's a great example. Or think about those chat with your PDF tools.
Oh, yeah, those are everywhere now.
Right? You upload a document, the wrapper breaks it down, sends relevant pieces with your question to an LLM, gets the answer, and presents it nicely, pointing back to the source in the PDF.
Yeah.
That's all wrapper functionality.
Or even simpler, like AI email assistants suggesting replies. The wrapper takes the email context, feeds it to maybe GPT-4, and gives you draft options. It uses the AI power, but simplifies the interaction.
And we're also seeing these very specific micro tools, like Nolly was mentioned. Tools designed to do one very niche thing, but do it extremely well using a wrapper.
I think the key takeaway here is that wrappers let us leverage AI without totally changing how we work with software. We still get buttons and text boxes.
And a lot of the magic, it's worth noting, is in the prompting. These wrappers often use very sophisticated prompts behind the scenes to get the best out of the underlying models.
Right. It's not always simple. And they can also pull in proprietary data, like we saw mentioned, using RAG or retrieval augmented generation, or even fine-tuning sometimes.
Okay, so we get what they are. Now, let's shift gears slightly. Why does this trend matter right now? Let's think critically.
For me, the biggest thing is democratization. It lowers the bar. And that's huge.
How so?
Well, it's not just about making AI easier. It's about bringing in way more people, different perspectives, people solving niche problems that the big AI labs might never even think of. It's like unleashing creativity.
That's a really important point. It accelerates innovation because you have more minds working on applications.
Yeah.
And developers aren't stuck on the integration hassle.
Exactly. They can focus their time on the cool stuff, the features, the user experience, the actual value it brings, rather than just the technical plumbing.
The focus shifts from the infrastructure to the application itself. Plus, there's a resilience aspect, wouldn't you say?
How do you mean?
Well, these underlying AI models and APIs, they change a lot. A wrapper can act as a buffer, a more stable interface. So your application doesn't break every time OpenAI tweaks its API.
Ah, right. It provides some insulation from that rapid change. That makes sense. It's kind of like, bear with me, the IKEA effect.
Okay, the AI IKEA effect. Where are you going with this?
Trying to integrate raw AI is like getting that flat pack furniture with like half the instructions missing. It's frustrating, takes forever.
Been there.
AI wrappers, they're like the pre-assembled display pieces in the store. You see the value immediately, and you can actually use it without wanting to tear your hair out. Less frustration, more productivity.
I love that analogy.
You know.
Okay, you mentioned movie analogies earlier. Let's hear them. How do movies illustrate these concepts?
All right, first principles, thinking, interacting directly with the raw AI power. Think Tony Stark, Iron Man 1. In the cave, building that first mini arc reactor from scraps, that's like coding directly with a complex AI API.
Yeah.
Immense power, yes, but you need to be Tony Stark level brilliant. Not for everyone.
That works perfectly. That raw, complex creation process.
Okay.
So what's the wrapper equivalent?
Pepper Potts, using Jarvis. She's managing Stark Industries, controlling this incredibly complex system, but through a simple voice interface. Jarvis is the wrapper, abstracting away all the insane tech underneath.
A simplified interface controlling immense power.
Got it.
Nice one. What about democratization?
Okay, think about the bat signal.
The bat signal.
Okay, it's super simple tech, right? A light, a bat shape. Commissioner Gordon, he's not a tech wizard, but he uses the simple interface.
To summon Batman.
Exactly. To access the immense capabilities of Batman, who's our core model here. The bat signal is the wrapper, empowering a non-technical user to leverage a powerful resource.
That's clever. A simple trigger for a complex response. All right, one more. Abstraction and resilience.
Doctor Who. The TARDIS console.
Good one.
The Doctor interacts with this ridiculously complex time machine using a familiar, if chaotic, set of controls. Levers, buttons, screens.
Even though the TARDIS itself is constantly changing inside.
Precisely. The underlying tech evolves, regenerates even, but the wrapper provides a relatively consistent interface to manage it all.
Those are actually really helpful analogies. They definitely make the concept stick.
I'm glad they landed. Okay, so another interesting point from the sources was this shift from thin wrappers to thick wrappers. What's that about?
Right. This is a key evolution. Initially, when things like GPT-3 first emerged, we saw a lot of what people call thin wrappers.
Meaning
they were pretty basic. Often just a simple user interface, maybe some prompts management, layered directly on top of an existing LLM. Not much additive value beyond just accessing the model.
like putting a quick coat of paint on it.
Kinda, yeah. And the problem was, because they were relatively easy to build, they didn't offer much of a competitive moat.
Yeah.
Anyone could build something similar quite quickly. The value was still mostly in the base model.
Okay, so that leads to thick wrappers. What makes them thick?
Thick wrappers add significant layers of proprietary value. They combine the base AI models with their own technology. This could be fine-tuning the model on specific data sets, adding unique algorithms, complex workflow integrations, maybe sophisticated data processing, better security.
So they're not just providing access, they're actively enhancing and customizing the AI for a specific purpose, adding their own secret sauce.
Exactly. That's the key difference.
Yeah.
And the benefits? Well, you get a real competitive edge. It's much harder to copy a thick wrapper with unique integrations and data.
Which means better user retention, presumably. People stick around because they're getting something unique.
Right. It leads to a more sustainable business model in the long run. That Poly AI example about voice customer service really drove this home.
Yeah, remind me.
They were saying, for a good voice AI assistant, you need way more than just an LLM. You need advanced speech recognition, nuance understanding, natural voice generation. That's a thick layer of specialized tech built around the core AI.
Makes sense. You need that extra intelligence for complex, real-world tasks.
And this whole evolution naturally fuels what seems to be a booming AI wrapper economy. The investment numbers were pretty striking.
They really were. Paul Dhaliwal pointed out, what was it? Over half of VC funding in the AI space in 2023 went to companies not building foundational models, but building wrappers or applications on top.
That's a huge signal from investors about where they see the immediate value and growth.
And you see the success stories, right? Companies like Photo AI, ChatBase, Interior AI, they're apparently generating significant recurring revenue by wrapping AI for very specific niches.
And the overall market projections for generative AI are just astronomical trillions of dollars. A big slice of that is going to be captured by companies making AI usable through these kinds of integration solutions.
It seems investors are looking for more than just cool tech now. They want teams that can execute, applications that users actually want. Traction is key, and of course, a path to revenue.
Yeah, traction seems crucial. And it's interesting, too, that even companies maybe starting as wrappers are going deeper now.
Like Perplexity.
Right. CNBC mentioned them now building and serving their own models, and a bridge focusing on healthcare, fine-tuning models specifically for doctors.
So it's a progression. Start by wrapping, build value, maybe eventually develop more core AI tech tailored to your niche.
Seems like a natural path as the field matures. But of course, it's not all smooth sailing. There are challenges.
Definitely. What stands out to you?
Well, market saturation is a potential issue, especially with those easier-to-build thin wrappers. If everyone's just putting a basic UI on GPT-4, how do you stand out?
Yeah, differentiation becomes critical. You absolutely have to find a specific niche, really nail the user experience, offer unique features, build a brand people trust. You can't just be a commodity wrapper.
Absolutely. And then there are the broader regulatory and ethical questions surrounding AI that anyone in this space needs to navigate carefully.
True. Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground, which brings us to the moment you've been waiting for.
Uh-oh. The bold prediction. Lay it on us.
Okay, here it is. Within the next, say, 2 to 3 years, AI wrappers, or at least this philosophy of simplified AI integration, will become the dominant way most developers interact with AI.
Wow, dominant. Okay. Unpack that. Why so confident?
Look, the super specialized AI researchers, they'll keep building the incredibly powerful core models. That's their job. But for the average developer, the ones building websites, mobile apps, internal tools, it just won't make practical sense for most of them to wrestle with raw AI APIs day to day. Why would they, when they can use a wrapper or a platform that makes integration maybe 10 times faster and easier? They'll naturally choose the simpler path to get AI features into their products.
So you're predicting an explosion of AI-enabled features everywhere, driven not by everyone becoming an AI expert, but by these simplifying layers making it accessible.
Precisely. Go back to the car analogy one last time. Car usage exploded because driving became easy with user-friendly controls. Not because everyone learned automotive engineering. Wrappers are those user-friendly controls for the AI engine.
That's a really compelling argument.
Yeah.
It frames wrappers not just as a tool, but as a fundamental enabler for the next wave of AI adoption.
So just to quickly recap our whole journey today.
We've seen that AI wrappers are these crucial layers, simplifying complex AI. They're making it more democratic, speeding up innovation.
Letting builders focus on value, not plumbing. And the trend is definitely towards these thicker, more sophisticated wrappers that add unique capabilities.
And this all points towards a future where interacting with powerful AI becomes much more common, more integrated into everything, thanks to these simplifying intelligent interfaces.
So, for everyone listening, maybe the closing thought is this. How could AI wrappers change things in your world? Your job, your hobbies? What becomes possible when this power is easier for everyone to access?
It might be worth looking around at some of the wrapper tools emerging in your field. You might be surprised what's already out there.
Absolutely. The AI landscape is changing incredibly fast. Hopefully this dive into wrappers gives you a clearer map of one really important territory. Keep exploring, stay curious.